Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Well, good morning, and welcome to Saturday Morning Live with Coach Deborah D. Smith. I am super excited as always because I love this platform and helping young men to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. So I'm always excited. But you know, this month of August, our theme is reaching out for solid education. And boy, did we start out with a bang. If you missed our educational symposium last week, or earlier this week, you have got to go back and look at the rewinds of those 4 incredible broadcasts. On Monday night, we had Bishop Gregory T. Lightner, who taught Teach It Forward. Tuesday, Anita J. Cummins, I Thought You Would Like to Know. Wednesday, Dr. Cynthia Smith, Changing the Narrative. And closing us out on Thursday, Christine Rick Stringfield with Motivating Today's Students. And when I say they were all amazing and gave awesome nuggets to assist educators, students, and parents. Again, if you missed it, you got to go back. But thank you so much to those 4 speakers, to our beautiful host that we had last week, which was Evangelist Catherine Trotter, Brady Robinson, Yvonne Whitfield, and Jocelyn Charles. And then we had, I did a different segment with our young men. I had 4 young men to give a testimony to an educator that has impacted their lives. So we had Henry Dinkins, Dan Smith II, Daniel McCartney, and Ty Cummings. And they gave some awesome testimony of educators that were there for them in their lives to impact their walk in being educated. So it was just an amazing week. And thank you so much to everyone. And of course, thank you to Dan Smith, who always opens us up with prayer at the beginning of all of our events. So thank you so much to him. Well, again, our theme for this month is reaching out for solid education. Today on Saturday Morning Live, I am going to be talking about learning 24/7. Learning 24/7. And I know my students out there are saying, hey, I got to go back to school. I am going to be learning. You want me to learn some more? I got to do it 24/7 every day of the week. Well, yeah, but it is simple. It's easy. You don't have to put in a lot of extra work. Some of it is right there before you. So I thought it would be a great segment to start out with. Please make sure that you like, share, and comment. Like, share, and comment. The more people that can get this content, the more of our young men we will be able to reach out and assist. So please share, share, share. Okay, learning 24/7. Learning 24/7. You know, it is a privilege to learn. Because if you think about it and go back to our history of especially people of color, we were not always allowed to learn. People didn't want us to learn how to read or write or any of that stuff. So it is a privilege and a joy to be able to learn and to educate your mind to do better and better and better. A day should not go by when you don't learn something. Each day you should have an opportunity to learn. And there are various ways that you can do that. You can learn a word. Okay, I go to school. They teach us the same lessons every day. How am I going to learn a word? Well, let's just say you're taking a different math class this year. Maybe an advanced algebra, geometry, stats, whatever. You may learn a word like exponent, or depending on your age, just different terms that you've never heard before. So that's a different word. That's a new word. And I'm going to give you some tips later on how some of these things can be before you and you've never realized it before. But you can learn words. I have an app on my phone. Well, it's not really an app, I don't think. But anyway, every day I get a new word. It's called Word Genius. And so they come up with words and I'm like, what is that? Most of them I have never seen before, can't pronounce them, but they, introduce the word. They give you the correct pronunciation of the word and the definition, how to use the word in a sentence. So that is a way of getting a daily word. You getting that word into you. So you are learning something different. And there's nothing that you have to do. It'll pop up for you. Or again, like later on, I'm going to tell you some different ways you can find things. But I know you're out there on social media, you watch TV, you game, you do different things. Hopefully you're reading your word. You can learn different words. Okay. And then definitions. I mean, if you hear a word that you've never heard before, you may be in a conversation with someone where you're not going to stop them and say, okay, so what does that mean? Blah, 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 blah. But you're listening. Okay. I've never heard that word before. So what are you going to do? When you get back into where you have time or the necessary tools where you can Google it, look it up, you can look that word up. What does this word mean? Oh, okay. That's what they were saying. They were just using another word for teamwork, or they were just using another word for project. They came up with something new, something you never heard before. A lot of times also people in meetings, they like to throw around acronyms. Yes, and next week we're going to start with the new SKP. And you sitting there, the SKP. Hey, you don't just sit there not knowing what SKP is. Okay, this is my first time in this meeting. I'm from another division. I've never heard that term. What does that mean? Oh, my apologies, my apologies. I just think everybody knows all this stuff. Stop people and find out, what are they talking about? If you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't ask, you won't learn. It's okay to ask questions. It's all a part of learning. And what are we talking about? Learning 24/7. So ask, what is it that you're talking about? What does that mean? Oh, so now you not only learn an acronym, you've learned what that acronym stands for. You've also learned about a new initiative. And then as they explain it, you've learned a whole lot of information, say in the span of 10, 15 minutes. Learning it's just fantastic. I consider myself a lifelong learner, but learning is not something, like I say, that you have to just put in a lot of energy. It's right there in front of us, and sometimes we don't realize it. New technology. Now, there's new technology that comes out all the time. You may have a Apple phone or Android, and you've been using it, and you pick it up one day, and something seems a little bit different. And for those of you who use Facebook, like on a routine or consistent basis, you'll look at it, and you have to go in there. This week you're going in there, and this is the way you're posting something, and you're trucking along, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, that wasn't there before. It's something different. So you have to learn something different. You have the opportunity to learn a new methodology. So the new technology, sometimes it can be scary, but it is a way to learn 24/7. Now, I have used Microsoft Word, Excel, and all that ever since it came out. Now I'm being introduced to the Google Chrome, Google Docs, Google Sheets, whatever. So I'm having to learn that. And I've got to do some research. This has been a very, very busy week, and it's going to be a bigger and busier weekend. But I've got to do some research on sending documents and attachments using Google, because I sent some things, a document out in the past couple of days. It's attached, but nobody got it. They don't see it. And so I was like, that's strange, because Google, normally, if you've in your document, you said something about attaching something, when you get ready to hit send, if you didn't put a subject in there, or if you said something about attachment and you didn't attach anything, it stops you. Hey, you don't have a subject, you don't have an attachment. Do you want to continue? So I was confident that I had attached something, but they said I didn't. So I sent it again, but then I went in my sent mail and I could see that I had attached it, but nobody ever got it. So there must be, and that is one Google account that I have, but I have others because I use it for Build Your Best Life, and that's how I send all my questions and everything out to my guests, and they always get it. So it must be something in the settings, but I don't know. So when I get time to sit down and do some research, that's something else for me to learn. There is a reason why nobody could see the document that I attached. Is that because it was not a Google Doc? But like I said, I attach Word documents all the time, and I've never had any problem. But I've got to do the research. So I'm going to learn something new this weekend with technology. But technology is changing, like I said, every day. And if we don't keep up with it, do research, ask questions, we will get left behind. So that's another opportunity to learn. Again, not a word, but it can be a term, a phrase that you've never heard before. I know, I guess I want to say this year, people begin to throw out, what is it? Is it ARV? I want to say it's RVP or RVS. I don't remember. But I was like, I just kept hearing it. What in the world are they talking about? Well, it's a new respiratory condition that people have begun to have a lot of this year. But people will think, everybody's going to know what that is. Well, I'm not in the medical field. And if I had not continued to hear that term, it would have just went, okay. So I don't know what they're talking about, but they're talking about somebody that's ill. They got these symptoms. So it has to be something with a respiratory condition. But I did not know exactly what it was. There was another opportunity to learn. So I had to say, you just, in this conversation, you said that term like 3-4 times. Hey, what is that? What is that? Oh, it stands for. So we have to, everybody's moving swiftly. We have a lot to do, a lot on our plates. We're trying to get from this place to that place. But when you hear new words, new terms, phrases, whatever it is, if you don't know what it is, if you're in a what if you're in a space where you can stop the person, because all the time you can't stop someone. If you're in a someone's giving a presentation, you just not gonna stop them in the middle of their presentation. But if you're like in a meeting, you have a one-on-one conversation, or several of your friends or whatever, you can say, hey, explain a little bit more. I've never heard that term. You're using an acronym. What does that acronym stand for? And exactly what are you talking about? There's something new. I'm interested in finding out what it is that you're talking about. So you can learning 24/7. A new name. Names people come up with new names, but they're names that have been around for centuries, but you may never have heard it before. And what interests me, because of my grandchildren, of course, their parents name them, but I like to go, if their parents don't tell me what their name means, then I like to go and do the research. Okay, exactly what does this name mean? Because sometimes people have names and you look it up and you're like, really? Did they look this up before they chose this name? Because this is what it means. Is this how you want your child recognized? So I just get interested, especially with my grandkids, my heart beats. But when I hear names, I've never heard that name before. Well, how do you spell that? Because like Tamika is a common name. A lot of people have that name, Tamika. But I know probably 4 or 5, and none of them spells it the same. It's always spelled differently. I got I think a TAMAIKA, a TOMEKA, a TOMEKA. Recently, it was another one, and it was funny because when she told me her name was Tamika, I said, how do you spell that? She said the right way. And she told me how she spelled it. And of course, it was different from all the other Tamikas that I know. So it's interesting. You never think about that, but that's a part of learning. So you just don't take for granted when someone says, well, my name is Deborah. Well, Deborah is a good example as well. So my name is Deborah. But, some people spell it Debra. Some people spell it Deborah. Of course, I spell mine DE''BORAH, and I have been corrected that is not Deborah, that is Deborah. But to me, that is Deborah. And a little side note, I started writing my name like that, I'm going to say in the 70s, because I would say, like, you introduce yourself, and I would say, yes, my name is Deborah. And at the time it was Cobb. My name is Deborah Cobb. Oh, Debbie, how are you? No, I didn't say my name was Debbie. I said my name was Deborah. I don't care if I wrote it, I said it, whatever. It always came back to me. I sent it out as Deborah, but it would come back to me as Debbie. And I'm not gonna go into why my name is like, I'm very, very particular about my name, but it's like, ugh. What can I do? What can I do? So I said, so one day I was sitting there, I said, if I write it like this, I'm going to see. So for years, probably 20, 30, 40 years, I had no issue. It was Deborah, it was no problem. But in the last, I guess, 10 years or so, I've been corrected. Well, that's not Deborah. That's Deborah. That's French. It's Deborah. But you can, as you learn, make sure when someone tells you their name that you don't take for granted. If you've got to write it down, if you got to remember it are you going to be using it in the future? Don't take for granted you know how to spell their names. Ask. I don't care if it's John. They may spell it differently. They may spell it JOHNN. You don't know. So you don't take it for granted, even though it's a common name. Oh, I know how to spell that. So I work with children, And so, I have to be particular. And a lot of times I get them, hey, write your name on the board. Or when they come in, okay, come up here. What's your name? Okay, spell that for me, because I want to make sure that I am using the correct spelling. So those are some of the ways that you can learn 24/7. But I'm going to tell you how you can, with common everyday things that are around you, how you can have a better opportunity of learning. And it's really, really simple. Well, to me, it is. And again, if you just tuned in, my topic today is learning 24/7. And our theme for the month is reaching out for a solid education. Make sure you like and share and comment. So now one way is crossword puzzles. I love crossword puzzles. However, I've learned the name of rivers, names of cities, all in different countries. I've learned different, like synonyms. So I've learned different words for common words that I know that I never would have, realized that, oh, that means the same thing. But working those crossword puzzles, I learned definitions, I learned words, places, people, all of that. So that is to me, that is a fun, easy way to learn. So you can try that out. Word games. You're on the phone all the time anyway. Instead of being on social media, looking at who's beautiful and who's wearing what, learn something. Word Connect. Every time I look, there's a different version of Word Connect. But with Word Connect, you learn different words because they're giving you some letters, and you got to take those letters and make words out of them. And so sometimes you can get skunked. You're like, okay, now I know, these are just some common letters. It's only 6 letters. What other word can there be? But you can learn a different new word. So much fun. Now, this is a good one. Talking with people from different cultures or just from different backgrounds, people that you've never, talked with before. You can learn so much, to me, I'm from the South, so grits, eggs, bacon, sausage, toast, that was a good breakfast. But that would be not 70 years ago, maybe 50 years ago. I learned that some people love to eat rice with eggs and meat for breakfast, or just rice and meat for breakfast. But in different areas of the country, people eat different things. People use different words. They have different terms. They cook different dishes. And so that may be a dish that you've never heard of before. But because your friends try different recipes, or people are from different backgrounds, or they work with people from different backgrounds, you can learn so many different things, different terms, different words, different, like I say, recipes, all of these things. But you can learn. It's learning, and it can be fun and delicious, not to mention. And now reading. This is a big one for me. Reading. Learning, reading. A lot of people love to read. But what are you reading? And I had planned to have some books here, but I don't. I got books behind me, books in front of me, books in my bedroom, books over there. I got books everywhere. I love to read. Love to read. But reading, wow, you can learn. It's just like with the crossword puzzles. When you're reading, sometimes you feel like you're there in a different country. You learn, but they don't call them cities. They call them provinces, or they call it this, they call it that, or where this river is in connection with this town. But you can learn so much about, rivers. Well, where is this river? It's in Africa. This one is in Europe. But reading, wow, you just learn so much. You learn things about the different countries. I know I was doing a crossword puzzle the other day, and it was like this species of deer found in Northern America? Well, because I've been doing crossword puzzles. I read a book when I was working on my AA degree. I immediately knew it was elk, But does everybody know that there's a such thing as an elk, and it's related in the deer family? The elk, moose, deer. You'll never know, but you can learn these things. Like I say, different places. You can learn about people. Things that you didn't know about people, like doing research and reading for my platform. And we were talking about, you don't let disabilities or negative things or stop you. You got to keep moving. I learned about Steven Spielberg. I never knew that he was dyslexic and he had a problem. All I know is this man can make some dynamite movies. I love them, but I learned some more about him. So it is very, very interesting when you read. And I'm going to leave you with this one. I love this one. Now, the Bible in a year. You should be reading your word. You can learn so much. Some of those people and places and situations in the Bible are so interesting, and you can relate them to things that happen today. But I read through the Bible every year. But what I started doing probably 3 years ago, every year I use a different version. This year I'm doing the English Standard Version, ESV. And so it's, amazing. I've read the Bible every year, and I listen to the same thing, but hearing it in different words, or maybe before I got distracted or whatever, something pops out. Wow, really? I didn't know that. Oh, that was his son. So you learn so much. So this is learning 24/7. We should all want to be better. Not to say that you have a string of goals, but you should at least have 1 or 2 goals. But there's something that you want to do, some area of your life you want to do better. But just to survive in today's world with the now social media, technology changing every day, you have to learn. You have to learn. You're going to be lost. So I hope that learning 24/7 was helpful. You learned something. I had fun listening to me, and you thought of someone that you can share this with. So I appreciate it very, very much. It was a joy to talk about this with you. Please make sure that you check out my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org. That's www.buildyourbestlife.org. Check out my blog that I release every Monday morning. Check out my calendar of events to find out what's coming up. Make sure that you have the right dates and times so you can put it in your calendar and plan. You can also see the services that I offer, which is coaching, consultation, speaking, webinar speaking, and you can purchase a copy of my book, Build Your Best Life. And it's about your life, your actions, and your credibility, overcoming obstacles to build your best life. And that book is a great asset reading, but it's good for educators, pastors, leaders, teachers, students, of course, our young men, our young ladies, but it is an excellent tool that you can use to learn, to grow, and to overcome those obstacles in order to build your best life. Again, I appreciate you tuning in today. You could have been anywhere else, because I got to shoot out of here and be somewhere else. So you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us today. So I really do appreciate it. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. Make sure that you're still reaching out to assist our young men. Be blessed.